welcome to Ohanga. In this video, Subham will be visiting Lauren at her home art studio. Lauren is an artist and illustrator. She is currently finishing up her study at Rhode Island School of Design. You might have already met Lauren in one of our other artists, Elena's video. Lauren and Elena are roommates. Okay, let's get started.
Oh my gosh. How did we actually meet?
We met through Lily.
Right, that's what I thought. In the Met.
Yeah, we met.
Which is our cafeteria
met in
at
the
school.
Met.
Yeah, we met in the Met.
We met in the Met.
And that was during school?
Yeah.
Yes, during school. It's the dining hall.
Freshman year though.
Freshman
Which
year.
was now 3 years ago.
And I remember it was a high top table right in the middle, and I sat down.
That was
and
the
we
first
just-
time we met. That's what I thought. Okay.
She had purple hair.
I did have purple hair.
And we just started chatting. And then,
Never left.
yes. Yeah, and then
So would you say your friendship started there, and has it translated to the art side too?
Oh yeah, I think that's why we stayed so close. Is because we like working the same way, like quickly and often.
yeah, often.
And then that just like translated into us staying friends because we were on the same like speedy schedule.
And we never had
I don't
a
think
class.
that was the only reason, obviously, but it did
Yeah.
suit us.
But I think it's worth saying, like, we didn't have a class
We never had a class
together.
together, yeah.
So we just like,
That's so funny, I never thought about that.
yeah. And we got really close over this period of time at RISD where you like focus on a specific studio and things kind of chill out.
Yeah.
It allowed us to like bloom as friends. And
We
then
shared
that
a studio.
second semester,
Yeah.
once we got back to work, we were
Yeah.
like, let's work together.
So when you say got back to work, as in school?
Yeah.
So you said studio. Give me an example of a studio session where you kind of worked together and what the project was about, maybe?
So I had a studio in a RISD building that I had like got special access to, and it was large. So I basically snuck Lauren in. It was not her department or place to be, but I had like cleared it with my teacher and brought my friend along, and we spent all of our time there. But
Oh, yeah.
working on separate projects, it was basically this setup. Because Lauren was next to me, and I had my work on the wall, and you did too.
But yeah, we had to put my paintings on the ground at night because I was not supposed to be there. And it was funny too because you had to get a key access.
Yeah.
And only Elena had a key with all of her keys. So I would like run and come in late at night. It was so fun. We spent all of our time there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when we like had the opportunity to get this place this year, we were like, this might be even better than anything before.
I know.
It's totally ours. Which is really
Yeah. And it felt like we had lived together already, which we had not. We had just shared so much time in the studio together that this setup worked perfectly because I need more like floor space and Lauren needs desk space.
So this is your workspace, I guess?
Yes.
So tell me more about it. What do you do here?
So right now, I'm just moving in, just getting settled. I think it'll become a lot busier as the year goes on. But right now, a lot is attributed to like my schoolwork. So I'm doing like some 3D different stuff. So it's a lot is going on. I have my sewing machine underneath. But then my sketchbooks are probably what I use most, right? Everything in here. My sketchbooks and my ballpoint pen is what I'm using the most around here. Painting, I haven't gotten into that much in this space yet, but I'm hoping to soon.
Can you show us your sketchbook a little?
Yeah.
And what do you do?
Just kidding. That's just a crazy piece. This is what I finished this week. So I'm in illustration, so I take a little bit more prompt-specific classes. So I explored a fairy tale I wrote in this piece, which translates to my personal work, but is more specific to storytelling and illustration.
So maybe could you tell us more about your fairy tale here
Yes.
for the audience?
This fairy tale is about, it follows a woman from girlhood to womanhood, And she starts by building fairy houses, then starts to build doll houses, then starts to build her own furniture. And she's gifted in a dream these magical set of tools. And she builds her house. And then the story like escalates to the king, invites her to come build the palace. And he gets greedy, so she gets kind of tricky and cunning with her magic tools. So that's the first illustration for that. So most of my pen work I do with just a big ballpoint pen. It involves a lot of off-screen or off-site scribbles, and then I get really technical. So these are small, a series of self-portraits. I'm very interested in costume, so I explore a lot of concepts through that. And show some more. These are portraits, and then these are going into more narrative concepts where I explore a lot of themes of like femininity. I'm very interested by brides and marriage and maternal themes, friendships. These are all things I explore through these works that are some still in process. So these are my penny portraits. I've kind of coined the term penny portraits because they're portraits the size of a penny that I do in pen. So it's kind of a fun wordplay. And here's one I did of a celebrity. Got to talk with him online about it too, which was cool. So I actually start by putting the penny in the center, tracing it. And then I do a rough sketch, which I could show you too. Here's a commission in the works. An older man. So they're great to do like in remembrance or as a gift. I do a lot of pets as well. People love a little portrait of their dog or cat. So we kind of go like this. Let's see. Oh, perfect. I already have my scribbles. I try to do that because it's very delicate, like if the pen blots, I just have to start over, which kind of makes it more of a precious experience. So I literally start by tracing the penny, and then let's see, who could I draw? I keep pictures of my family and friends on my desk, so let's see if I can choose someone fun. Oh, this is a great one. It's me and my friend in London. So I'll just use it as a reference. Oftentimes people send me theirs. And I use the circle of the penny as like the base of the head. And then I extend the jaw off of that. The light pencil. Oftentimes, the like process is so delicate that I like to go in with pen as soon as possible so that if it's a faulty pen or if I mess up, I just start again. But the scribble sheet I've learned is super helpful in that, and it's pretty rare that I have to start all anew. So I just kind of place the features, make sure the gaze is correct, which is the most important part to these, since they're so small, that like facial expression is the best. I have a series of them on a wall in a coffee shop back in my hometown of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I go out on the streets like every season, so really like fall, winter, spring, and I meet people on the streets, I tell them about what I do, I ask them to take a picture, and I keep that on my phone and I use that like this as a reference, and I draw them, and then depending on which ones I like the most or which pictures turned out most successful or moving, I put them in the coffee shop so they can go in and recognize themselves and then purchase them from there. So, penny portraits of the people of Portsmouth. this is from another commission that I haven't started yet.
Now, you're not going to school for this. This is just you being you.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
No, I've never done this for an assignment. Here's a good finish one. Most often, I put them in a 3x3 frame that I get custom made, so it's super small, and they're super fun to package up. I package each one all in its little gold paper, usually with a ribbon, and oftentimes, if I can, I try to deliver it in person, because they don't see the process. That's the first time they get to see it. So oftentimes, it's moving for the reason that they got the portrait, whether it's in remembrance of, like I said, maybe a pet, or I did them once for a dad for Mother's Day of all their children, and he was just like so stoked to recognize each of his children in the different stages of their life. I did a gallery show once too where I drew, I had people commission them in advance for the show, and I drew different children. That was kind of the theme of the show, and then children could come in, and I had all these jars of pennies, and they circled their own penny and drew their own portrait of themselves, and we decorated the whole wall around with those. So that was kind of fun and interactive too. It's exciting to have someone interact with your work so closely because it's so small. Sometimes if you make a big painting, people might just like see it and walk by because it's so big, and with these you do really have to get close, which is maybe a little bit intimidating but also exciting.
It appears to be a diptych. Do you want to tell us what a diptych is?
Yeah, so it's two works that are in conversation with each other, preferably meant to be paired with each other in like display, but I think that these could also work on their own, but to me it's very signifying of, they're very related to each other. I did in quarantine, which of course like we didn't know how long that was gonna last, so I didn't finish them. But they're about themes of home, specifically my home, my two sisters. So this one's gonna be an interior, and this will be exterior, so this will be outside. But I want the color palette to be really closely tied, so that like maybe from a distance you couldn't even tell which one is which. But it's kind of that journey outward as we all followed my mother as she led us out into the world, and we return and try to struggle and figure out themes of domesticity, living at home, being that like teenage girl that's still just as curious, still just as giggly, and still just as contemplative of the world as you were when you were so young, but in a very new way. And these were definitely themes of quarantine for us. Lots of sun tanning.
Yeah.
My sister, I would go, "You have nowhere to go," and she would just fly outside.
It seems like you're really interested in these shadows that this fabric is casting. Also, you've moved completely from this to finished across, which is funny.
Yeah, I initially was going to have it be one painting, and have these like in a different tone pushed way in the back. But then I just loved the sunlight so much, and I thought I might as well just make two paintings. So yeah, the shadows are about kind of like the literal shadows that is cast by all those things of home, like your bed sheets and your old clothes, living in your old room. For me, that was quite a shift. I'm struck by the word tranquil, because I think that that's meditative and reflective, but to me, you immediately think of a vast like sunset or ocean, because people look at that and there's so much to like explore. But I think these are still tranquil in the way that it's a story and that it's something to reflect on, something to unpack in a way that I would want to make a warm cup of tea and sit and look at them. And I think of like the things I think we've both explored in our work, but how they could inform like such a vast audience. Like even like 12-year-old girl kind of shocks me, like thinking of it being in a family's home.
Yeah.
But also like in thinking of my painting of the party people dancing.
Yeah.
And like I would love to see that in like a middle-aged woman's home. I think something else really special about it is like when we do share work on social media or in critique, we get that like snippet to be like, this is what it's about, and then have people look at it knowing that, and then you have no idea if when people are seeing it in a gallery or whatever, they're reading the things and they're getting to know it. Like my work of the offering of my mother and I's jewelry, how like it would be so special to me to have someone experience that with a full understanding of what that painting means, so that they can like relate it to what it means to them. I don't know, I just
Also on social media, I think we get the impression that it's made for everyone, like when we post it, because everyone will see it. But I love the idea of like starting to like make a little wish about who's gonna house the painting and not thinking about the gallery. That's so exciting.
like that painting is that painting that I just it's called like To Be More Like My Mother, and it is a wish. Like that whole offering that I made was like my wish that I consume jewelry in my life that tells stories that are so fruitful and of love like hers are. And if like another young woman who has that similar like mother relationship could enjoy that painting is, and how like special in daily life. Because yeah, you can save it on Instagram and put it as your screensaver, like do whatever. But like it would mean a lot to me in person. I can't imagine.
Does that make you more excited to make pieces like that, where you take a part of you and you can see that in somebody's house?
Yeah, if I knew
Totally.
if I knew I was in conversation with people of my community, like not even
Direct conversation, yeah.
yeah, and I think of like older women. Like I would love to give this like older woman like this painting of my youthful self or something like that, so she can relate to
Perhaps her own childhood?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just like a reminder around your little house.
yeah.
But I think our paintings would hang in opposite homes.
Yes.
But also sometimes, every once in a while, there might be a similar mood. But
Maybe
I do
similar
think
wishes,
you would end up
but
in some
opposite
sort of like
moods.
tranquil, and I will end up in some sort of vibrant. Like, maybe.
Get
So-
to know it.
Hit on the word unpack. I've heard you use that quite a few times. At least my age, we don't use it. What do you mean by that?
I think that's like a word we use in critique at school, that kind of means to sit with a work for longer than just the kind of quick museum glance, maybe.
Yeah. And unpacking to me would be like specifically. Unpacking to me is questioning the choices and trying to find the answers. Why is it only white cloth? Why is it sheer? Where did it come from? Who are these girls? Why is she looking up? Why can't you see her face? That's all the unpacking to me that I'm constantly doing, that in my head, even when I show sometimes my family and they're like, it's beautiful. I'm like, ooh, let's unpack it. And I think, yeah, like to have it in your home and to be able to
Yeah, they almost could unpack it over time
Unpack
and
it over
notice
time.
things each week or day.
yeah, like reading a book and you notice something new the second time, or watching a film, to give someone the time with that. Why is she holding her leg? I know exactly why. But like, you don't need to know why, and I don't need to write that in an artist statement, but that's why we make art, is to share stories, to share feelings and messages and ponderings, and it might not bring you to the same question or answer that it brought me, because we live different lives, but to propose, my painting is hopefully to propose thought.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.